July 19th, 1977, the world teacher, the Christ Maitreya, head of the spiritual hierarchy, emerged from his ancient retreat and is now in the modern world. With his disciples, the masters of the wisdom, he will inaugurate the new age of synthesis and brotherhood.
Good morning and welcome to our World Teacher Program on Wellington's Access Radio 106.1 FM. Presented by Teresa and David on behalf of Share International New Zealand.
We start today with the Master's article as given through Benjamin Creme and sourced from the March 1984 issue of Share International magazine. Titled A Major Opportunity, it begins:
Each year, as the spring months approach, Hierarchy makes preparation for the 3 spring festivals of April, May and June. Every year as the time draws near, plans are set in motion to enable those who seek the light and wish to serve to do so more fully and more effectively.
During this spring, we intend to make a major manifestation. Throughout these months, energies of enormous potency will flow outwards to the world. Their heightened power will facilitate certain rapprochements much needed today, and great efforts will be made to canalize the goodwill of millions. In this way, it is hoped to effect great changes in human affairs and to prevent a further slide into chaos and war.
This time of heightened activity we call a spiritual push, and during this period all spiritual activity will be potentized manyfold. Spiritual actions of all kinds, stemming from whatever tradition or belief, will find enhancement during these months, and much can be achieved if full use is made of this opportunity. It behoves all of us who desire to serve and to better the world to contact and use these forces, and so make them manifest in their lives.
We seek to establish among men a new sense of shared responsibility. We seek to awaken in them a taste for concerted action. We endeavour to create the conditions in which these two can manifest together and thus lead to change. All is energy. Energy alone exists. Through the impact of these higher energies on the centre humanity, we seek to engender a new atmosphere in the world.
Help us to create conditions of trust and so bring renewed hope to the world. Sow the seeds of love and trust and watch them blossom as hope and joy. Everyone can do something to ease the pain of his brothers. Take stock of where you stand and see what you should do. Pledge now your support for every act of sacrifice and contribute your share thereto. Make this time a time of giving. Let your will to serve have full expression.
Know that as you serve, you work towards the light and align more correctly with the purpose of your soul. Take your stand with us and allow the dreams of men to come true. Take your stand with us and be assured of our stimulus and help. Take your stand at our side and perform deeds you thought impossible to achieve.
When you see Maitreya, you will know that the moment of decision for the world has come. He will call for action from all who would save the world. Join the ranks of those who act and serve, and enter the mainstream of the great current of life. The time has come, as never before, to act in accordance with your professed ideals, and to make manifest the vision enshrined in your heart. Know that you are not alone, that millions embrace these same ideals.
Join hands with all who seek to serve and spin a web of light around the world. Remember that you are in the world to serve, and that only through service can you grow. Remember that you are your brother's keeper, and accept responsibility for your brother's needs. Present yourselves as never before, as channels through whom we may work, as transformers of the mighty potencies which will shortly flow to you. In this way you can set the seal of service on this life, and in due course join the ranks of those who have gone before you.
Our next article is a brief description of the Wesak Festival, sourced from this month's Share International magazine, and begins,
Wesak is the name of the festival of the Buddha, which hierarchy holds in a valley in the Himalayas. It is also held all over the Eastern world, exoterically in Taurus, usually in May. All the members of the hierarchy gather together, both in the physical body and out of the physical body, in this valley. The Christ and heads of the other two great departments, the Department of the Manu and the Department of the Lord of Civilization, these three great lords stand in triangular formation in front of an enormous flat stone, on which stands a large crystal bowl filled with pure water.
When the moon rises above the horizon, at that moment of the full moon in Taurus, the Buddha comes. The Buddha comes from Shambhala and hovers over the stone, over the crystal bowl, and transmits to the Christ the energy which is called the Shambhala force, the great first ray of will or power. He will transmit it to the Christ every year in ever-mounting potency until the year 2000.
It is circulated by the Christ through the three lords, himself, the Manu, and the Lord of Civilization, held by hierarchy and then gradually released to the world until the full moon in Libra, when it is withdrawn until the following Wesak.
The locals come there, the Tibetans, and the pilgrims from northern India, and gather at one end of the valley while this great ceremony is taking place. Then the water in the crystal bowl, which is blessed by the presence of the Buddha, is shared out among all those participating. It is a deeply significant esoteric event.
Why are the festivals held at the time of the full moon? Because at the time of the full moon the energies are more available. There is opened an energetic conduit which makes them more potent and more available. It is not a question that the energies are only potent at those times, but for mankind it is the time of greatest assimilation. Mankind finds the time of the full moon easier to tune into, align itself with, and assimilate these energies. The Master Dwell called DK has said that it is as if a door is opened between the sun and the moon, which makes events of a spiritual nature possible. The moon is always there, but when the moon is full in relation to Earth, then this conduit is most open, which relates humanity to the hierarchy more easily than at other times.
It is impossible to overemphasize the importance of the work of transmission meditation groups. This is probably the most important work that all of us can easily be engaged in. Whatever other activities we might have in connection with the plan, or whatever other service activity we might be involved in. At present, it is of vital importance in creating a pool of energy in conjunction with meditation and prayer.
It is a continuous activity into the new age and beyond. The masters in their own high way are transmitting energies from higher sources 24 hours a day. It is the major work of hierarchy and knows no end. Transmission meditation is a way of working directly with the masters to serve the world. It was not until our time that a sufficient number of people appeared approaching identification with their soul and seeking a field of service. More and more people are reaching this stage today.
The masters are the guardians of all cosmic and solar energies that enter this planet. Their work involves selecting the energies that are needed at a given time and transmitting them at a level that humanity can absorb them. They thus serve the plan of evolution, because it is thanks to the stimulus of these energies that all life evolves.
The masters are scientists. It is through the triangulation of energies that the masters multiply the quality of the energies they send through transmission meditation groups. The science of triangles is the very foundation of transmission meditation and gives it tremendous power. The real work is done by the masters.
The hierarchy sends the energies where they are needed. It's very important that members of transmission groups do not themselves direct the energies. The masters are the only ones who know where they are needed, in what proportion and at what power. The world situation is changing from moment to moment, so the energy should not be sent to any particular group, country or person. One place may need a stimulus, another may need the withdrawal of energy. Additionally, all energies have different qualities. This is a science so complex and so occult that only the masters can know it.
This article by Benjamin Creme first appeared in Share International in June 1982 and has been reprinted in this month's edition. It's titled The Relationship Between Meditation and Service in Spiritual Growth, and begins,
Modern psychology has divided humanity into two main types, the contemplative and the man or woman of action, the introvert and the extrovert personality. Esoteric psychology also recognizes these differences in people's approach to life. But characteristically, since it aims at synthesis rather than analysis, it sees their eventual integration.
To the esotericist, the introvert is one whose attention is focused inwards to the soul, who has good and easy contact with that aspect of himself, for whom formal meditation is attractive as a more scientific and organized means of deepening that contact, but whose contact with the outside world is relatively fragmentary and limited, leading to difficulties of expression and functioning on the physical plane.
The extrovert, on the other hand, is one whose contact with the outer world is strong and vivid, who has little difficulty in relating to people and situations, but whose contact with the soul is limited and largely unconscious. His attention is directed outwards.
Life after life, our souls create vehicles, our personalities, through which both modes can be developed and perfected. The evolutionary aim is their ultimate integration, an uninterrupted direct contact and at-one-ment with the soul, and at will a free-flowing rapport with the outer world of people and events. This is the ideal. Its achievement marks the initiate.
The twin ways of the path to this integration are meditation and service. Through meditation, contact with the soul is deepened and strengthened, gradually bringing about the infusion of the personality by the soul. The energies and attributes of the soul, spiritual will, love and intelligence, manifest more and more through the personality, until such time as the fusion of the two is complete.
Through service, the purpose of the soul is carried out. The nature of the soul is to serve. It knows only altruistic service. All that it is of will, love and intelligence, it seeks to put at the service of the plan of the Logos of which it is a reflection.
In Palestine, the Christ revealed the fact of the soul and instituted the path of service as the way par excellence to God realization. This is no less true today. The great illusion of our personality life is the sense of being at the center of the universe. We are all of major interest and importance to ourselves.
Nothing is so effective in decentralizing ourselves as service. Nothing so helps us to gain perspective and to grow spiritually. As we serve, we identify more and more with the other, that which we serve, and gradually shift the focus of our attention from our little separate selves. We gain a broader, more inclusive vision of the world, and so come into a more correct relationship with the whole of which we are a part.
Many today, especially those working in the Eastern tradition, under the influence of one or other of the many gurus now teaching in the West, see meditation as an end in itself. They see no need for service or outer action to change society for the better, see no outer change being possible without an inner change of heart.
Many also believe that simply by meditation alone they are doing more good for the world than otherwise they could. No doubt if they were God-realized masters that might well be so, but even the masters work unstintingly in service to the world, none more than they.
Through meditation, one draws on the energies and inspiration of the soul, which give life and meaning to the personality expression. Where these are denied their correct outlet in service, a damming up takes place in the personality vehicles, mental, emotional and physical, with unfortunate results. Many of the neuroses and other illnesses of aspirants and disciples stem from this non-use of soul energy and denial of soul purpose.
Meditation remains the royal way to contact the soul, but once this is achieved, the way forward for the true aspirant to discipleship is through the acceptance also of the life of service. The inner and the outer focus must be balanced, and a start made on the infinite way, the way of service, which calls all true sons of God from the lowliest disciple up to and beyond the Christ himself. It is the same need to serve which impels the Logos into manifestation and gives us life.
You're listening to the World Teacher Program on Wellington's Access Radio 106.1 FM. At every lecture he gave around the world, and virtually every day of his life, Benjamin Creme was asked numerous questions covering a vast range of topics. Here's a selection from the September, October and November 2002 issues of Share International magazine.
Question: why is it so important to be incarnated at this time?
Answer: this is a unique time in the history of the Earth. A new cosmic cycle, the age of Aquarius, is just beginning. Consequently, enormous changes in every area of life will take place over the next 2,350 years or so. Above all, a great change in human consciousness will gradually unfold, greater by far in depth and range than at any previous point in history. This will be the results of the extraordinary stimulus given to our evolution by the energies of Aquarius, and by the externalization of the work of our spiritual hierarchy for the first time in 98,000 years.
The Christ, the Lord Maitreya, and a large group of his disciples will be physically present for the whole of the age, aiding humanity to evolve in peace, freedom and justice. An extraordinary opportunity is thus provided to everyone to serve the world, helping to create the new structures in whatever department of life calls you. Who would not want to be around at such a time?
Question: what has happened to make the Masters return to the world now, after 98,000 years? Answer: the Masters have for long known that they would return to the world, demonstrating their ability to function outwardly in the world as a group. The only question was when.
The world has nuclear weapons. There are 28 countries which have atomic weapons of which only a fraction would be needed to destroy all life on Earth. So the Masters are coming forward with Maitreya. He announced his intention to return in 1945 at the end of the World War, to prevent destruction of all life on our planet. If allowed to go on as we are now, we could destroy all life. The tensions inherent in the divisions between developed and developing countries have within them the seeds of war, and that war would be nuclear.
Question: will Maitreya focus on practical matters, family, neighbourhood, relationships and so on?
Answer: yes, he is a practical man involved in our practical problems. These are his priorities. The Masters are not mystics, we are the mystics. We mysticize everything. The Masters are knowers of wisdom. Knowledge plus love is wisdom. This is the wisdom living, the practical wisdom of living harmlessly in right relationship. That is what they are concerned with. You will find Maitreya to be very simple. He is a spiritual giant, but he does not go around with his eyes turned up to heaven. He is involved in life and the relationship of love.
Question. My wife works for Share International and I see the magazines. What struck me was that Share International has no advertisements, like most magazines have. It also has colour photos from time to time. If it is not sold in bookstores and you have no revenue from ads, how does Share International manage to keep going?
Answer. We decided in the beginning that we would not take advertisements, so we thought better to control our own destiny and not waste energy chasing adverts. Share International is on subscription, which, kept as low as possible, does not fully cover all the outgoings. The shortfall is made up by the kind donations which many people add to their subscriptions. Our chief asset, I suppose, and what makes it all possible, is the fact that apart from the actual printing of the magazine, all the work is carried out by voluntary labour as service.
Question. At the beginning of the lecture, you asked the audience to keep an open mind. What does an open mind really mean? How can we be open-minded?
Answer. To be open-minded doesn't mean to be empty-minded. It means not to be prejudiced. To every new idea we bring to it what is really our conditioning, our prejudices built from the cradle onwards by our parents, teachers, the life we lead, the things we read, and so on. That creates thought forms in our mind which then become fixed, and they prevent us from seeing something else.
It means being free. It means having a mind which belongs to yourself with nothing in it, which prevents you from looking objectively at new information. Most people, when they hear new information, bring up their preconception of what that is. If they like it, they accept it. If they don't like it, they keep it away. But on the level of mind there is neither liking nor disliking. There is only what is true. If it is true, it is interesting. It may not be your path, but it is interesting. That has the experience of truth because you have not put something else in its place and rejected it.
If you are free in this sense, your mind is open and you begin to learn, to self-educate. You can test it in yourself whether it is true or not. If it is true, you can see it in connection with everything else. If it is false, it doesn't fit in with anything else. You can immediately test it and see that it is false. The truth has its own power, the power of being which nothing can destroy.
Question. I feel some resistance to the idea of masters. How can I remove this feeling?
Answer. It is important to realize that the term master does not signify any special authority over us. To the democratic mind that would indeed be unacceptable. A master is someone who has consciousness and control on all planes. In other words, he has mastered himself and the life process. His authority is of a spiritual nature stemming from his age-old wisdom and experience. One should also remember that to the master our free will is sacrosanct and will never be infringed.
Question. In H.P. Blavatsky's Collected Writings, Volume 12, in a piece entitled First Preliminary Memorandum, 1888, there is a detailed and fascinating account of a forerunner who would work most assiduously to make known the coming of the world teacher. There is a detailed account of when this was to occur, 1975, and a description of this person's qualities and so on. We believe this person to be Benjamin Creme. Is this the case?
Answer. Beliefs are free.
Question. There is also a similar prediction made by the Master Dwal Kul in the Alice Bailey books, Luch's Trust, that the final public phase of the return to the world of the Christ would take place around 1975 through modern media, the radio for instance. Does this also refer to the work of Mr. Creme?
Answer as above.
And now we'll finish with a short extract from my message number 10, as given through Benjamin Creme.
I am among you once more, my dear friends. I come to tell you that you will see me very soon. Each in his own way. Those who look for me in terms of my beloved disciple, the Master Jesus, will find his qualities in me. Those who look for me as a teacher are nearer the mark, for that is what I am.
And that's our program for today. If you have any questions, please call us on 06 364 6101 or visit the website share-international.org, where you'll find more information on the various aspects of the emergence.
To inquire about Share International magazine subscriptions, the number is 04234 1133, or write to P.O. Box 9576 Wellington.
Thank you for listening to us on Wellington's Access Radio 106.1 FM, and please tune into our next World Teacher program on Saturday the 11th of May at the usual time of 10 a.m.
You can listen again to this program and previous ones by visiting our website at share-international-nz.info and click on the radio tab.